Hi, and it's Clare Maxfield here from Image Innovators, and today I'm going to share with you how the colours got their names. Now, I'm sure a few of you out there are going, Pantone, Pantone are the crowd that name all the colours. But it actually goes a lot further back. And when I did my research into this is not what I was looking for, but I found it so much more fascinating. And I'd like to share it with you here because our understanding of the names of colours just goes way back in time to a period that started as soon as like the third or fourth millennium. That's a millennium, not a year or two, BC. That's where it's the common ancestor, they call it, of the Indo-European, which is the European, Indian, Iran, and Anatolia, the Proto-Indo-European language. And then it sort of develops through all the sort of the Nordic languages and then into Old English. But I just want to share with you some of them. So now they've discovered globally, it seems that colours historically have been named in the same order, no matter where the language was derived on the globe. That in itself is interesting. So black was one of the first colours to be named, and it generally came from the meaning of, something being dark or inky or to burn something. So the original meaning in the Proto-Indo-European, do you mind if I just call it pie for now? It was black, B-H-L-E-G. And it was and finally went through, black and black. And eventually the old Saxons called it black, B-L-A-K, and the Swedes called it B-L-A-C-K. So that's how we got black. It was one of the first ones. The second equally happened as, it was the next one in most cultures as quintos, or meaning white or bright. And then it's changed through to quits and whit and wit, and eventually the Old English called it quit. How we got white from quit, I don't know. But I'm surprised we don't have a laundry product out there called quit. I think we probably do, but does it make things whiter or does it get stains out? Same. So red. Red, which was meaning the colour red or ruddy, started off as rud, R-U-D-H. And in Old English, it developed till it became R-E-A-D. The Saxons and the Norse called it roda or rod. And then green. Green meant to grow in the original Pi language. So it started off as ger, then it went to green, grain, and groen in Dutch. And in Old English, it was green, G-R-E-N-E, green. And didn't just mean green, it meant also being young and immature. And we still often say, if someone's green, they're young and immature. But now, years ago, this is where it gets interesting, and funnily enough, and I'll cover this in another one of these quick tips, depending where someone lives in the world, they will have a variety of words for the colours around them. The Alaskans have so many words for white, whereas I sort of have brilliant white, soft white, silk white. More if you go to the paint store, you're going to get a whole lot of other versions of it, but in their language. So depending what's important in your region, you'll have many words for those colours. I remember being in Kazakhstan doing some training, and I brought up periwinkle blue. Even they didn't understand it. And they didn't have as many words for the colours as we do. So different languages also deal with colours differently. But talking about blue, no, I wasn't. I was talking about yellow. Yellow was considered to be close to green. And originally it was called giel, which means both in the Pi language, a yellow and a green. And it really seemed to take a while. I think it was Old High German, they called it Gello, and Old English, it was still Gelu. So it took a while for yellow to become yellow. And now then blue, back in those Pi days with, as I said a minute ago, that is going back 3 to 4 millennium before Christ. Yellow and blue were getting confused. So obviously the rods and cones hadn't developed well enough to discern between the two, which is quite interesting when you think they are 2 of our 3 primary colours. So it's not like they're opposite each other and counting each other out. And like sometimes people often have a dysphoria between, red and green. They confuse them, but yellow and blue, anyway, they had trouble with it. And, the original word was belloise, and it meant light-coloured blue blonde hair. They did some funky stuff with their hair back there. And eventually in Old English it became bleu, but it's like some of our words now in the English language we take from the French. So it was around the 9th, 13th century. Blue was written as bleu, B-L-E-U, and it did mean a variety of things, including blue. And that is where Common English grabbed blue from. Now, the next colours they started picking up, one of them was brown, which just sort of meant a dark colour and a shining darkness. And it was brunos or bruno. And it was in the Old English that it became brun. And the earliest known writing of this was about 1,000 years ago. So God knows what they were calling trees 2,000 years ago. Who knows what the bark was called then? And now purple, it's another recent one, and it didn't really come into being until they started making the purple cloth, which they did with the purpura mollusks they got in the water. So it was a very expensive colour to work with. But, sometimes when you look at some of the natural ways to get dyes, carrots used to be purple. You got purple carrots. Purple cabbage as well. So I'm surprised they didn't start soaking things, although you'd probably need a lot of carrots and a lot of cabbage. So anyway, these mollusks came around. They were called purpura. It actually was the Latin word for them, and that's where purple came from, around the 9th century. Now, orange, yes. What came first, the name orange or the fruit? Well, actually, the fruit came first. It was called Nalanga, and that is where we get the name orange from. So it was named after the colour came from the fruit. So it was eventually turned into the Arabic naranj. At the old time of French, it was pomme d'orange. And it didn't get the English language until 1512. So that's when orange came. And one of the last colours was pink, which happened not till around the 16th century. And it was used to describe an array of flowers of a pink nature. So it was kind of like a catch-all colour for all the flowers in the garden. They think they're dianthus, and that were pink. So that is where all of our colours come from, or not all of them, but just the starting of it. I hope you've enjoyed that, and I will continue with some more posts as we go forward on the meaning of the colours. So you're getting some of that meaning through. You can see green has meant young and immature, for time immortal. But I'll bring up some more in the following weeks. Look, if you're enjoying these, don't forget to subscribe. And if you'd like to know any more about training or joining us as an image consultant, don't forget to contact me. Clare Maxfield here from Image Innovators. We've got tools, training and resources for image consultants all around the globe. Bye for now.